What's going on, YouTube? This is Mark with Waist Deep Wade Fishing, Southwest Florida. How's everything going today, guys and girls? I'm gonna put out an interesting video today. 10 things that you must have for a successful wade fishing trip. And they're important because if you forget a couple of them, you're in for a bad time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump right into it. No big introduction. We're gonna go right into the first thing you need. Number one, must have. Take it from first-hand experience. Wading boots, or if you don't have the money for those, an old pair of sneakers that fit snug. And I'm gonna explain why. First of all, in these waters, you're gonna be walking around the grass flats. There's sharp shells, there's stingrays, there's crab, and there's one other thing you got to be very careful about, and that's oyster bars. I know from first-hand experience. I had a couple years back, went out and was walking around without wading boots on or sneakers, and what do you know? I happened to walk upon an oyster bar, and oysters do carry bad bacteria that can give you blood poisoning, even start rotting your skin. And I had cut both feet at the same time. So from first-hand experience, to you guys out there, get yourself a pair of wading boots and avoid all the other problems that come along from not wearing them. Number two, and this is an important one, very important one, waterproof bag. Whether it be a sling, whether it be a school bag, make sure you get a waterproof bag for your filming equipment, for your lures, for your phone, for your money, for your keys, for everything. Make sure the bag is waterproof, and even if it is, what I like to do is use a good Ziploc bag, and I put all my stuff in separate bags inside the waterproof bag, just to make sure, in the event that you fall down, you slip, you get hit by a wave, everything is protected. Number three on the list, a fishing shirt, like the one I'm wearing right now, which is with a UV rating of 30 or above, preferably 50, and you want to get yourself a face buff. If you see some of my videos or my pictures, I'm always wearing a face buff. We're here in Southwest Florida, and it gets hot. And you can be out there for 10 minutes and already start to burn. I've seen old timers that were born and raised here that decided not to wear a face buff or put any type of sunblock on, and bits and pieces of their ears have been cut out because of cancer, plain and simple. So that would be number three on the list. Do not forget the fishing shirt and the face shield. Number four, real big one. Some people go out there and think, I could go out there for a couple hours. I don't need to bring anything to drink. I'll be fine. Well, you got to walk to the spot. Then you're out in the water, walking around. That heat is beating down on you. Okay, you can get very dehydrated, and dehydrated fast. Happened to me one time where I literally had to get out of the water and make it back to the car and get to the store because I felt like I was going to faint. So very important, make sure you bring a good supply of water with you. Number five, very important for the inshore fishermen like myself, polarized sunglasses, preferably with green lenses. Now these are not my fishing glasses, these are just my regular sunglasses. But my fishing glasses do have polarized frames, and they are green. Why are they green? Let me tell you. The green film that gets put on that I don't know what proprietary stuff they use, but that film with the polarization allows you to scan the water when the water is cleared up, and it allows you to sight fish, redfish, trout, snook, or whatever you're going for. So I highly recommend. Oakley makes a great pair. Of course, Costa makes a great pair. I'm not going to plug all of them. I'm not getting paid by them, but I'm just saying those particular products work wonders. They're great, and I highly recommend them. Moving on. Also, and I did leave this out too, and another reason for glasses, if you are throwing lures, like myself, lures have treble hooks on them. And when you're fighting a fish in the water, sometimes the fish will spit the hook, piece of the hook will break off, and that lure will come shooting back at you. The last thing you want, okay, is a treble hook in your eye. So moving on to number 6, which is also very important and could be scary at some times, especially if you're taking fish. Number 6 would be a string and a stake. Now those could be made, from PVC. You can buy them, fishing stakes in Bass Pro. And what you want to use that for is if you are going to keep fish, okay, do not, and I repeat this, I see so many people do it, and I've heard horror stories about it. Do not get a piece of rope and tie those fish around your waist and start dragging those fish around on the grass flats with you. Okay? Those fish are going to give off scent. Some of them could be bleeding, and you know what comes next. That man in the dark suit. Either a shark or a dolphin is going to smell that and think it's a quick meal, and he's going to come by, grab onto that fish, and take you for a ride. So, use your head, guys. Go buy a rope. Go buy a stake. If you catch a fish, put that fish on the rope, tie it to the stake, keep that stake at least 10, 15, maybe even 20 yards from you, stake it down, go about your business. Throw your lures around on the grass flats. If you catch another fish, well, you just got to walk back and tie it to that stake. I highly recommend that, and I'm pretty sure if you've ever been bumped by a shark or a dolphin that's gotten too close to you while you've had a fish tied to your waist, I'm sure you'll never do that again. Next thing you're going to need, waders. I do not personally wear waders. The cold water down here only gets to about the lowest is 65, 66 degrees. It doesn't seem to bother me too much, so I don't bother wearing them. But if you are in the northern Florida area where the water gets colder and it's cooler outside, then I suggest getting you a good pair of waders. You can pick them up anywhere. And really that's that. Number 8, when out on these grass flats, make sure that you have a game plan. Do your research. Okay, find out what time the tide is coming in, what time the tide is coming out. Okay, those are going to be indicators of when the fish are going to bite. You want to know when was the full moon, how many days after the full moon, how many days before the full moon, what's the wind going to be like, what direction of the wind is it going to be, what is the temperature of the water, is it going to rain. Okay, these are all things you want to pre-plan every trip that you have, just to make sure you can get the best out of every trip and catch as many fish as possible. I also suggest going on to Google Maps and checking out the area via satellite before you head on out there to look for oyster bars, for ledges, for deep cuts, for drop-offs, for depth of water. And there'll be another show that I'm going to be doing on that, how to read those maps. But you can go on YouTube right now, there's tons of them, and find out exactly how to use Google Maps to find fishing spots. Next thing that you're going to need, that you're definitely going to need, needle nose pliers. Okay? Number 1, the last thing you want to do is you have a fish flailing around next to you with, your lure in its mouth with 3 sets of treble hooks, and he flops around and happens to hook you in the leg, the stomach, the arm. So now you're hooked in the arm, okay, with the fish, flopping around, he's tearing you apart, and you still got to get that fish off the hook. So what I suggest doing is getting a nice pair of waterproof, preferably saltwater proof, needle nose pliers. Okay, keep them handy whenever you catch a fish. Bring the fish towards you, get your needle nose, grab the hook with the needle nose, pop the fish. The less you touch the fish, the better. And last but not least, something that every outdoorsman should have is a trusty knife by his side. Now, it doesn't have to be a machete or some big Rambo knife. I'm just saying, keep a knife on you. You are in the water, okay? And if something should happen, if you should get hit by a shark, a small shark, a big shark, if a big shark takes a bite out of you, chances are it's not looking good. But you never know. Keep the knife on you. If you see anything that is coming towards you and he's not stopping, well, then you know what you need to do. I'm not going to say it, but you know. So anyway, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to this episode of waist deep wade fishing Southwest Florida. I hope everyone's enjoying the videos. I'm trying to make them as informative as possible. I do want to say thank you, God bless. Please hit the subscribe button, share, like, dislike, whatever, and leave comments in the bottom. You know, if there's something that you want me to do or something you want me to touch base on, just ask me. Leave the comments in the bottom. So till then, I want to say thanks, everybody. Again, this is Mark with Waist Deep Wade Fishing Southwest Florida. Keep in touch, stay tuned, and go get yourself a yellowmouth.